Happy Tuesday, hackers! We have an ongoing series called Hackster Café, which is a bunch of interviews with people who are doing awesome stuff with hardware. And today's, unfortunately, we had a little bit of a scheduling snafu, but usually you'll find it here at 10 a.m. Pacific time on Tuesdays. And I'm very excited about this because we actually had a bit of a lag in doing it, especially at the early start of the year, but we've really picked up steam now that it's a weekly thing. And I'm excited about two of the next ones that are coming up, including Hans Forsberg's 3D printed machines to interact with magpies in his backyard. He's training them to pick up bottle caps and other things. And also Jill Ogle, who has created Remo.tv, which is a robot telepresence platform where you can put your robots on the internet that anyone can control, or you can just go there, Remo.tv, and like find robots, and then you can push buttons and interact with them remotely over the internet, drive them around in someone else's house, use them for telepresence at events, things like that. It's super cool. So those are coming up, but I thought that I'd give a little bit of a review of the last year of interviews, since there's some really cool stuff in there and it's easy to miss. So in the description to this video, I have put a link to this playlist, which starts out with Biddle the Robot Dog. This is an amazing creature that started out on Hackster as OpenCat. OpenCat. Here we go. And if you remember, back in the day, this was, what, 2018? And Rongjong Lee created this as an open robotics platform for creating your own cat. And there's some really cool stuff about the joinery, how this thing is put together, the springs, etc. Later on, he created Nibble, which was a kitten version of this that was crowdfunded on Indiegogo. And the latest one is Biddle the Robodog, who was also crowdfunded to great success, which you could get on Kickstarter. So we sat down with Rongjong to talk about this, and it's so cool! Look at that. Okay, anyway, there was more robotics. We had, let's see, Nicholas Roy's Fabulous Machines. He has a ton of shush, be quiet, past me. Tons of really interesting robotic public art installations and things like that people could interact with even during the lockdowns, things that you can interact with through windows and things like that. These are wind-powered music box machines. And Mohit, we just recently interviewed about his freeform circuit sculptures, some of which do actually move around and roll around. Previously, I think this was before this year, but Emily Velasco made has done some really cool. Oh no, I was clearly in lockdown at this point. So Emily tells us here about her amazing audio projects, including the latest one, The Orb, and gives us a demo of it later on, which I'm not finding. But yeah, The Orb is this orb, as you might guess, that she turned out of wood and includes these electronics that make music and weird noises when you like roll it around in your hands and stuff. So check that out. So we talked about robots. There was also a huge theme of PCB art. So Steph Piper talked to us about Elke Electronics' beautiful soldering kits for young people. And, you know, honestly, people of any age, I love these. I got to put one of them together, but they've got these brilliant designs, some of which use multiple colors on a single PCB, which is something that we've just started to see this year, becoming a sort of regular thing that's available. Super cool. So check out Elke. Also, if you're into PCB art, check out our interview with Thomas Flubner, who created the Remoticon badge for Hackaday this year, as well as a really beautiful set of add-ons for last year's SuperCon badge, and some really gorgeous work with design on here. Check that out. More PCB art. We've got Stephen Hawes, yeah, who created the bow tie, which is a PCB bow tie that lights up and you can program. It's got an ESP 8266 on it, I think. And now he's working on an open PNP project so you can build your own pick and place machine for assembling vast amounts of hardware by yourself. Who am I missing here? I'll get to the grab bag ones at the end. We also had Eben Upton on here talking about Raspberry Pis, and we could have gone on forever, but this one was about the Raspberry Pi 400 specifically, and we took it apart on the air so that you could see what's inside and we could chat about it. We also had a number of Impact Prize winners. So Walter Kwan was on to talk to us about his air quality control in schools project, which was an Hackster Impact Prize winner. We had Sora Health, which helps you share your information with doctors in a very secure way. We had Ivan Holt on, who talked about machine money and empowering devices with wallets. His project was his project for that was super cool. And let's see, we had a couple of others that I'm not having to brain right now. But scroll through. There's plenty of these cool ones. That might actually be all of our Impact Prize winners from this year. Then we had Samson March's wearable smarts, including this DIY smartwatch, super beautiful, and also a pair of smart glasses. So one of these was 3D printed in a wood-filled filament, and then he applied this wood stain to it, and then the glasses he actually milled out of wood, out of bamboo, out of a cutting mat, and also stained that so they look beautiful together. And it's really interesting to see his process evolve as he used these different materials for making wearable tech. We had Andrew Bunny Huang on to talk about Precursor, which is a device that's on Crowd Supply, where you can basically use it as a pocket-sized mobile development tool with Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. It's got a little keyboard. It's got tons of hardware security, and it's open down to the bones of it. You can see everything about it. You can recompile the CPU. It's got an FPGA. It's ridiculous. Go check out this interview. Another one where we could have talked forever. We've also got Glenn Akins on talking about interesting human input devices. Oh my goodness. At the end of this, just look at this table of weird, cool things that he got to show off. And it's so interesting. All of these different strange ways of interacting with a computer that he's come up with, including this like interesting radio button. Look at this, to destroy special radio. Press both buttons simultaneously. I asked him about this one. It was fascinating. He's also created giant what's this one? I don't even remember what this one was, but it was really interesting. There's so many to keep track of. He also created a set of 3 giant keyboard buttons that you can use to interact with your computer with little macros and stuff. So I think that's most of the ones that we got through this year, but in the same playlist, there's years of backlog, including our friend Moldover, more PCB art from our friend Ben Shockley, with these little Lego guys. Barb Noranon talking about solder corns, which are My Little Pony unicorns that have soldering irons embedded in them. You can also see in that video our friend Odd J, who has done a number of robot projects, continuing on the Companion Robot series. He's been on a few times. Let me see. He's talked about his previous Aussie spider robots and things, but as you can see, a very stylish and creative individual with tons of cool robots. Oh my goodness. You've got to go follow him on Hackster. It's ridiculous. More hardware music with Vitol, who's an incredible artist. I got to go see his exhibition in Moscow, actually, last year. And then more cool stuff from Emily Velasco, including the Lissa Jukebox, which you can see here. And then also Sophie Wong, our friend who makes fascinating wearable tech projects. And she talks about her process and all the cool stuff that she's built. So an absolutely star-studded collection of people building incredible things. And I feel so lucky to have gotten to talk to all these humans about what they're building. And to me, it's some of my favorite videos ever to do, because we just get to like sit down and ask them all the stuff that that we're curious about their projects. And when I say we, I mean we. So we have a couple of recorded ones coming up, and we're going to have more of those. But we also do live ones often every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. So be sure to tune in at that time, because if we're on the air, then you can chime in with your own comments in the live chat, and I will see those and ask those questions. And you'll get featured on the main screen, and that'll go in the recording, and you'll get to have your own questions answered by these heavyweights and amazing humans that are just so cool. Plus, it's incredibly inspiring. And if you have suggestions for whom we should have on the show, that would also be magnificent. I have like a ridiculous list of people that I want to talk to, and we're slowly getting through that. I'm talking to Lenore from Evil Mad Scientist Labs, who is one of my heroes, and tons of other cool people. But yeah, as you can see, we all love the interviews. Be sure to join us. Tariq is often on here asking awesome questions of the people that we have on. So yeah, that is our sort of year in review of this year's Hackster Cafes. Tune in 2021. Plenty of people to talk to. We're never going to run out of awesome people, and maybe we'll get to talk to you someday. All right. Have an awesome rest of your Tuesday, and hack on.